Welcome to Panze FM. This is DJ Kuda, your host for today's program. We have a packed agenda for you today featuring interviews, new updates, and latest song to hit the airwaves. So whether you are tuning in on radio, online, or through the TV, we all welcome you to this program. Today I'm hosting Pastor Samuel Mawezera. How are you, Pastor?
I'm very fine. And you?
I'm very fine.
That's good.
And I'm happy to host you today.
Thank you. I'm happy to be invited to your program.
Do you know that you are the first person I host on this broadcast?
Really? So let's break the horizon and see what we can come out with in this interview. Thank you very much.
So how do you feel to be the first one?
It's always good. It feels good to be the first, isn't it? As a man, I think it's a priority to be the first. I think everyone wants or needs to be the first in everything. That's the aspiration I have.
Thank you so much. To all my listeners, don't forget to subscribe, share, like, support us. Please. We want your support. Pastor Mawezera, how do you become a pastor?
Okay, let me say, you have to understand that everyone has his own identity. Identity is not only the outside marks or the visual things what people see, but identity also carries your character, carries your abilities, carries your gifts. All that that you have can make you want to be a pastor or whatever you will be. So for me, I aspire and I have decided to be a pastor because seeing my childhood as I was growing, I had passion for being a preacher.
Yeah,
I had passion to call people to God, and that is what makes me a pastor today.
Right. So let me ask you, my pastor, to be a pastor, is it a calling or it's a profession?
Okay. Yeah, with the rise of many people seeing it as a business, yeah, some may think being a pastor is a profession. Of course, it becomes a profession at a certain level, but I take a pastoral career as not a profession, but I take it as a ministry for God. Yeah, we do all this to call people to God, and that's the business we have. If it is the business of God, that it becomes a profession, being employed by God, not by men. Because if I am employed by men, then I will seek to please men. But if a pastor needs to know that he is called by God to do God's ministry, and whenever I see pastors, one of the prominent pastors of the old was Noah. He preached the message so that people may be saved. As long as you are doing a ministry to save people, that's a calling. It's not a profession. So I don't know if I have answered your question very well, but I believe it to be a calling if you know what you have to do, if it is from God.
So how can you tell that I am called? How can you tell? How can you know that you are called?
Okay. Actually, it is the same as understanding your gift and your talent. Sometimes you don't have to be to hear in your ears that you are called to do this on earth, but you have to understand your gifts. If you have a gift of preaching, you have discovered that you have a gift of preaching. Of course, that's a print that is telling you that you have to go this way. You cannot go any other way but the way you are made by God. So I think one of the things we have to notice is that you cannot do something which you are not passionate about and do it perfectly well. So for me, I was passionate about being a preacher, passionate about telling the truth. I desire to know the truth, and I desire to share what I discover from the Word of God.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I have another question, my pastor.
Okay.
How do you balance your personal life with the demands of being a pastor?
Okay. Yeah. My personal life and the demands of being a pastor, I cannot separate that actually, because I see it as the same thing. What makes me my personal, what gives me personality is what I have in talent, in gifts. And I believe that as a pastor, I have to call people to God, and that's my desire. That's my life. You cannot live separate from what you do, because life is attached to how we act, how we behave, what we believe. So actually, if I spread love to people, I'm being a pastor. You don't have to be a pastor in church. You are a pastor everywhere, because you call people to work for God. You call people to do what God desires everyone to do. And I believe if you spread love, you are doing the work of God. And that's what I desire to be, and I will be.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
You know what, my pastor?
Okay.
When I'm free, I always listen to Ola 7 broadcast show.
Okay.
When he do his trending stories and on the spot. There's an issue which was raised there. It was a program of trending stories. You are, and the co-host was Yaya. They talked about Kapfupi.
Okay.
You know.
Okay.
So Kapfupi said, I was a singer, but my things are not going well because of my family. They are, he believes that he's being witched by his family members. What?
Okay.
So as pastors, do you believe in witchcraft?
Okay. I may not say I believe in witchcraft, but I would say witchcraft is there. Witchcraft is real. Actually, the word witchcraft, it is attached to the word which is craft, which means being a witch. There is a craft that is done. They do their crafts so that they bewitch people, and I believe that it was always there. If you read the book of Acts, I remember when Paul was casting out a demon from someone who was being possessed, and it is understood that that girl was being possessed because somebody bewitched her, such that he could make money. So it is in the Bible. So I believe that witchcraft is there. It is real. Though I do not say I believe in witchcraft. I think you perceive the difference there. I believe that witchcraft is there, but I don't believe in witchcraft.
As a pastor, can you be witched?
Yeah, as long as you separate yourself from God. If you read the Bible very well, in Psalms 37, it tells you that the angel of the Lord encompasses those who fear God. So if you remove that cover, if you step outside the wall, then there is much possibility for you to be bewitched. And I would like to say there is a saying which is in Shona, kuti inoti nunzi haimhari pasina ronda. You understand that as long as you have a wound, that wound is always inviting the flies. So it's kind of like that. So think about it. If being a pastor, I go out and I steal something, then there is a possibility that if that guy or man is in witchcraft, he would bewitch me. And I don't know how to put it. There is something they call rukau in Shona, where if you sleep with somebody's wife, you are exposing yourself to the devil, and the devil will deal with you. In Shona, there's also another proverb which says usapinda nemwenje mudzio. Kupinda nemwenje mudzio, which means if you use your light, to usually those candle, if you get into the river with a candle, you are destroying the light which you have. So you have to stay in your zone so that you may be safe.
Thank you so much, my pastor.
Yes.
To all my listeners, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. You can just type DJ Kuda Panze FM.
Okay.
You say DJ, then you space Kuda, then you space Panze, then you space FM in capital letters. To my Facebook page, just write Kuda Kwashe Chindoa, and to my TikTok page, just write DJ Kuda. Pastor, do you believe that people immediately go to either heaven or hell when they die? Or do you believe in a more complicated afterlife? Can you tell us more about the state of the dead?
Okay. Yeah, I would like to answer that one, but there are a lot of theories. But we should understand that these theories did not start in the 21st century. It was always there. Even it started by someone whom we call the devil in the Garden of Eden. So I want to expose it this way. But before dealing with the state of the dead, I would like us to understand what is life. Because you cannot understand death until you understand life. So in that aspect, I would like to say, some people say living is eating, and some people say we live to eat, some people say we eat to live. But those are part of life. Those things are not life in themselves.
Yeah.
So one would say also living is breathing. But I would not agree to say that living is breathing, because breathing is something like if you don't breathe, you die, isn't it?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing as if you do not eat, you will die. So breathing is part of life. Eating is part of life. Drinking is part of life. But actually, what is living? That's the answer we need to have. If we would read, let me open this in the book of Psalms, Psalms chapter 146. All right, chapter 146, verse 4. It says, "His breath goes forth; he returneth to his earth. In that very day, his thoughts perish." So I want to focus on the last part of this text, which is saying that when the person's breath goes away, when he is not breathing, when he is not doing that part of life which is breathing, what goes away, what perishes? It is the thoughts.
Yeah.
Then I would ask, can you live without having thoughts? So living actually is having thoughts, the ability to think.
Yeah.
You can think to eat. You can even decide to kill yourself. You can decide to do whatever you do. It's because you have that life. So I would like to put it this way. I will show you why I'm coming with this one. I have discovered that even scientists cannot define what we call the mind.
Wait, are you a scientist?
No.
You're just a
No, I'm a researcher.
You're a wide reader.
Yes, I read almost everything possible so that we may understand the aspects of life.
Thank you so much. You can go on.
So I want to put it this way. Even if you go in the dictionaries, what the scientists or even those who do grammar, they can define what is brains, what is this, but they fail to define what is a mind.
Yeah.
You cannot locate it. Does it stay? Because if thoughts are like brains, the brains, in Shona we call that uropi. Uropi hausipfungwa.
Yeah.
But that's the center where the mind works in. So actually when we hear that the breath of life, we must understand that God gave us the ability to think.
Yeah.
Because a person is not a piece of dirty which breathes.
Yeah.
You are a person because you think. Actually, have you seen that we have identical twins? They are identical in every aspect of their life, outside appearance, even their marks, whatever, height and everything. They are identical. But what differs is how they think. So what gives you a personality, what gives you a different life, what gives you an identity is not just the outside appearance, but the way you think. So let's see how we came to life, and then from there we will understand what is the state of the dead. After we understand the state of the living. So I will go with you in the book of Genesis. Is that okay?
Thank you so much.
Okay.
To all my listeners, I have an intelligent pastor. He is very, very intelligent.
Okay.
Stay tuned so that you cannot miss an iota of this entertainment, and very educative. You can go on, my pastor.
Okay, so we will begin by understanding what God says in the book of Genesis, where the generations began, the beginning of everything.
Yeah,
So before the beginning, there is nothing.
yeah,
Something begins at the beginning. So let's read Genesis chapter 2, verse 7. It says, "And the Lord God formed man of the dust of the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and man became a living soul."
oh,
Yes, after God creating a man, molding a man,
yeah,
giving a shape to a man was just a piece of dirt. Actually, I would say that, having the brains, which is in the scalp,
yeah,
having all that, but a person was not living. Why? Because he was not thinking.
yeah,
One would say, I believe that living is thinking. If you stop thinking, you are dead. And one would say, if you've seen a madman does not think. I would say, no, a madman does not think the way you do. A madman thinks the way a madman does.
oh,
So everyone who lives thinks. So if you the thoughts perish, that's the expiry of life. So actually, to say in a nutshell,
yeah,
coming to life, God, what God put in the body was not oxygen, because people die even in the presence of oxygen.
Yeah.
But what God put in the nostrils, or what God put in person, it was the mind that thinks.
yeah,
Yeah, that catalyzes everything that is in the life. That's where you start to breathe. That's where you start to see. The eyes will start to see. The ears will hear. Everything for His purpose will begin to work after the breath of life, or the thinking, the capacity to think, the mind was put in a man. I would put it this way. The breath of life is like, have you ever used let me use it this way. Today we have our phones. Maybe when they started, they had no memory in themselves.
Yeah.
But the memory was put in a memory card. So the mind is like that memory card. Is that system which is put in a phone, which has everything, which has every memory, which projects. So you understand that whenever you remove the memory card, does a phone play a video?
no,
It will not, because it has not that memory.
yeah, yeah,
It has not that history. It's not there. So the mind will work to have the memory. It will work as the RAM, the processing of things. After that RAM is broken, when a laptop or a computer is shattered, or you see the operating system will not work. That's how we die. So when the memory or the mind comes out of a man, that's when he dies. So I would like to come now to the side of the dead. So if one would say, when a person dies, he will go to heaven.
mm-hmm.
And some will say about purgatory.
Yeah,
I would like to put it this way. I want to shock you, maybe. I believe in purgatory.
oh,
Yeah, but purgatory is happening right now. It's not after when you're dead. Because the word, we have to understand English, isn't it? The word purgatory comes from the word which is purging. Purging is cleansing. So the cleansing is happening now. There is no way you are going to be purged after you die. You have to be purged right now as you live. It's open in the book of Ecclesiastes. We will read chapter 12. Chapter 12, we read verse 7. I will try by all means to limit the text, but there are a lot of them.
it's okay.
Yes, verse 7 says, "Then shall the dust return to the earth as it was, and the spirit shall return unto God who gave it." So we want to see how things were put into their place,
Yeah.
into the place we have them now. They will go back to what they were.
Yeah.
We have heard in the book of Genesis where it says that God formed a man out of the dust of the ground. So the body which was formed out of the dust, it will go back to where? To the dust, to the ground where it came from. Then the spirit will return to God as it was before. And if you think that you go to heaven to live there, you are mistaken. You go where you were. So before you were created, where were you?
Yeah.
Maybe if you would try to answer that one.
Don't confuse me, my pastor.
Yeah.
I'm a DJ. I'm not a pastor.
Okay.
I'm here to learn.
Okay.
With my friends who are listening, we want to learn.
Okay.
Don't confuse your DJ.
Okay.
You can proceed, my
Okay,
pastor.
thank you. I just wanted you to attempt. It's okay, though. You go back to where you were.
Yeah.
If you were not there, that's perishing. You are not there. So we go back to the position of not existing. So the spirit, when it goes back to God, it goes back as it was. Was your spirit living as you who was living? If you were there before you were alive, then you had to tell us how does your life, or how was your life before you came to this earth? So if you know nothing before you were born, that's where you go back. You go back to know nothing. I will just support that with the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Chapter 9. Let me go there. Chapter 9, verse is 5. Let me maybe begin with verse 4. Verse 4 says, "For to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. For the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything, neither have they any more a reward. For the memory of them is forgotten." I want to put it this way. Have you seen that as long as you are alive, you have hope? What
Yeah.
does have hope? Is the capacity to think about the future. If you are dead, you do not have that capacity to think about the future because your thoughts have perished. Have you heard what the psalmist said? Your thoughts perish. So you cannot think outside the body. You are one person, the body and the spirit. So if you see yourself dead, you cannot think. Hear what he says in verse 5: "For the living know that they shall die." Is it not a fact? That do you need to be a theologian to understand that you will die? No, you already understand that you will die one day. A time will come that you will die. But what he says next is, "But the dead know not anything." It's anything means everything is not known to the dead. They don't know that they don't even know that they are dead.
Yeah.
They don't even know that they are dead because the thoughts have perished. What knows is the thoughts.
So
what knows is the mind.
So wait.
Okay.
So what's your take on the issue of ghost?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's a pretty amazing or a good subject. I would put it this way. What the devil wants is he wants us to believe that we can have life after death.
It's okay. Let me add the question because of your time, so that you can explain it.
Okay.
Right. I have a story here. You said the dead know nothing. That's what you said. Right. But I have let me read this short story and you explain it. There once was a young man and who was not particularly well liked by his neighbors. He was known to be a bit of a troublemaker, and many of his neighbors were pleased when he passed away. Imagine their surprise when a few days later the people in this neighborhood began receiving letters from James telling them off for the wrongs they had done him. One man even received a letter telling him to pay back the money he had borrowed from James, and that James knew exactly where he hid it. You see, and you said the dead know nothing. What are you saying, my pastor?
Okay. Yeah, that's it's a story, but we want to unpack it this way. As I have said before, the devil wants us to believe that we do not really die. If you read the book of Genesis chapter 3, when he deceived our parents, Adam and Eve, he told Eve that you will not surely die. He was saying you will die, but not surely. That you will live after that. You will have a certain life after that. So he wants us to believe that if we die, we will have a life after that.
Yeah.
But I want to prove that the devil is a liar and the father of lies. And let's see what the verse says in the same chapter, Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 6. It says, also their love and their hatred and their envy is now perished. So you see, I will not finish this text, but it shows us that if someone who was loving you is dead, he can no longer love you. Because what loves, it has something to do with the thinking. You can think of loving someone, you can think of hating someone. So if your thoughts are perished, you cannot love, you cannot know anything. But maybe to answer your question, it is first answered here, that a person when he's dead, he or she knows nothing. He is perished. There is nothing. He goes back to not existing. So I would like to come to the book of Hebrews chapter 1.
As he opened the book. So you are saying, my pastor, if my mother dies, right, it's a waste of time to buy something like tombstones and feeding people and doing good things, because she cannot bless me because she's already dead. That's why are you saying?
Okay, no, we don't have to mix things. For that one, I will not open a text for that.
It's okay,
because building tombstones is for historical purpose. You must not do it to please the one who is dead. Otherwise, you have to please those who are alive. I remember a song by another artist who was called, they call him Winky D. He said, Musati kana ndafa mozo dawo ndichagira maruwa. No, do it now. He says, I like the idea that you have to appreciate someone when he is alive or she is alive. You don't have to please someone when she or he is dead. So actually, to build tombstones is not a wrong idea. It's good for historical purpose, that we can point to someone and say, this person lived these days and died on this day.
It's okay, my pastor. I'm giving you 2 minutes to explain your point.
Okay. As we read in Hebrews chapter 1 verse 7, it says, and of the angels, he saith, who maketh his angels spirits and his ministers a flame of fire. There are a lot of texts, as I said, but I will use this one to prove my point. I understand that they are angels. We know that God can make angels to be fire. He can make them to appear as wind, and he can make them to appear as even human beings. So there is a possibility that an angel can look like a human being, and you may believe that he is a man. And even angels can make even animals to talk. That's how angels operate. The angels can be fire, angels can be wind, angels can be human beings. Satan, though he was cast out of heaven, he still carries with himself the possibility, the ability to be like that. We remember that angels have visited Abraham. How did they appear to Abraham? If you read it, you will see that they appeared as human beings. When they have visited Lot, they appeared as human beings. So they have so many possibilities. They have so many capabilities. So Satan is still an angel. He can do that. Once a soldier, always a soldier. You may be against.
Thank you so much, my pastor. Thank you so much,
all right.
My pastor. I want you to attend this question in less than 1 minute.
Okay.
What is the role of a pastor in today's society?
Okay, the role of a pastor in today's society, I believe it is calling people to God, embracing love. If you read the book of Proverbs chapter 1, verse 7, it tells us that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. So I embrace wisdom. People should think sharp. People should be knowledgeable. People should know the best things in the world, and the best thing in the world is God Himself. If you read the book of First John, chapter 4, it should be verse 8, where it says that if someone says he knows God and does not love, he is a liar. Because if you know God, you will love. So actually, what it tells us, that what it embraces, it is embracing love, to love one another. That's the core of a pastor today. That was the core of a pastor in the days before. It is still for us to call people to love one another.
Thank you all so much, my pastor. Maybe there are people who need your details.
Okay.
Can you share your details with us?
Okay. Yes. As it was said, I'm Samuel Mawezere. I have my contact number. If you may need it, it is 0775 751 699. That's my body number, and I have a net one line which is 0713 125 863. That's my number. That's where you contact me on WhatsApp. I may share that one for you now, and that's why I'm available for now.
Thank you all so much.
Yes.
Can you say something to the people of your age?
To the people of my age, okay, I would want to say that we should understand that God is interested with people who have vision. We must have vision to embrace good things. We must build our nation, but our nation is built by love. If we do not have love, we are lost. So I would like to tell the people of my age, do not embrace those things which lead to, I don't know if I say it this way, to stupidity, maybe which benumbs our brains. I think in the society today we have people who are into drugs. You may have all those sorts of things. It is carrying you away from your personality. It is carrying you away from your identity. Chinonzi chitupa ndofarira mazwi echishona. Chitupa chinonzi chitupa chinotaura identity yako, kana kuti chinokupa mutupo chinoreva kuti iwe ndiwe ani. Kama wezwire kuti mutupo nechitupa. I like the idea of that. So I would like us not to fly away from our identity. What makes you is how you behave.
Thank you so much, my pastor. Dakutenda imose nengo yatati nayo waterere nengo ya maandipa yekuterera panguwa ino murambe makaterera nekutsigira ma programs edu naye. Mchaona kuti wada kuramba wachitsigira pa YouTube, sezvo dataura DJ Kuda Panze FM, pa Facebook Kuda Kwashe Chindowa, pa TikTok munongonyora kuti DJ Kuda, zobva zvafamba zvakanaka ipapo. Muramba muchiti supporta. Tinoda ma ideas anobva kwamuri ne support yenyu pawangosundwa napo nemwe wa Mwari. Uye ndikufara zvikuru neundanga ndina mufundisi tichati patichabuda mu studio yedu yepanze wachatondinamatira kuti ma blessings arambe achiwanda. Program shoko raMwari ende mberi, nekuti muchaona kuti program iyi kana kuti station iyi yepanze FM iripo pakufambisa basa raMwari, nekuti vhangeri yeushe hanzi chaparidzwa kundudzi dzose ipapo kuguma kuchasvika. Saka da kutendai murambe muchisupporta. Charamba tichikupai zvimwe uye nezvimwe zvamune muchitiudzawo tichipa kuvanhu kuti dziite zvakanaka, nekuti ishe apedyo nekuuya. Tinoda kutendai mufundisi, mufambe zvakanaka. Tiri kudaidzai nemamwe mazuva tichitaura nyaya dzakasiyana siyana. Mwari akuitirei zvakanaka. Amen.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone.
Five minutes, please.
It's okay.
Okay. So